I think it's important to know that like with each age bracket, there are like recommended amounts of sleep. So trying to make sure that your child, you and your child, your whole family, is falling within whatever the recommended age bracket is. So like for adults, that's 7 to 9 hours. I have a 14-month-old. For him, it's 11 to 14 hours. So in a day, trying to really make sure you're getting whatever that recommended amount of time is. And we often know that getting too little sleep can be kind of detrimental to feeling well. And sometimes also getting too much sleep is surprising, but it can actually really kind of impede our ability to feel energized and refreshed.
No question. Sunday scaries is certainly that's prevalent amongst all of us, adults and young folks. And so there are a couple of things. One, we're always asking to figure out whether there is a underlying anxiety tendency amongst children that, for example, that I treat in clinic. Are they always kind of anxious, or is this just specific to nighttime? If it's just specific to nighttime, then we work on strategies to make sure that children know how to calm and relax their brains at night when they're laying in bed. And this is not an easy thing, even for adults. But the hallmark of the approaches that we use are known as cognitive behavioral therapy towards insomnia. These are the techniques that help kind of decrease nighttime thinking and worrying. And I'm happy to give you some of those techniques. One easy thing is something called paradoxical intent, whereby a lot of people are like, worried, they're Rolodexing through their thoughts at nighttime, and then they try to tell themselves, okay, brain, just shut off, go to sleep, trying to will themselves to sleep. And we know you can't really do that. It's not an on-off switch. And so, as part of cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, we tell folks, well, actually, think about the opposite. Think about calmly staying awake in bed. Tell yourself, I'm just going to lay here awake quietly and relaxed. Hey, look, I'm still awake. That's okay. That's what I'm trying to do. And that usually takes the pressure and anxiety off of trying to fall asleep and helps them sleep. Yeah. We do have a lot of data that shows that screen use amongst children is harmful to a variety of sleep metrics. And so, our goal when it comes to your body clock is certainly avoiding too much bright light exposure at night. And there are a couple of factors that weigh in. The color of light is important. So LED devices are notorious for giving off lots of blue light, which tends to disrupt sleep the most because it tends to decrease melatonin the most. The brightness of that exposure is important, and the duration of the exposure is important. So my goal is usually keeping things really dim and screen free for 30 minutes prior to bed. That's usually enough of a window that your brain says, okay, it's now dark. It's time for sleep. Let's start making our own natural melatonin. Exercise overall, we think, of course, is a net positive for health and for sleep. We do know that when you exercise too late in the evening, your body temperature, your core body temperature rises, and the decrease in that temperature takes some time. And it's actually important for your body temperature to fall when you're going into deep sleep. So people that exercise too late and find it hard to go to sleep, we're typically recommending doing the exercise early in the day. Ideally, giving yourself like a 4 to 6 hour gap between exercise and sleep. However, there are others that can exercise right up until bedtime, have no issues, fall asleep fine. And in that case, nothing's broken and we don't need to fix it. You can continue on with your timing.
So we maybe have a night, I'm definitely guilty of that too. I have a night that I don't get a lot of sleep, and then I'm really relying on caffeine to try to keep me awake. And caffeine is then going to impede the ability that next night to get good sleep. So, really being mindful of when you're having caffeine, trying to limit it if you can, and trying to, avoid having caffeine like in the afternoon or the evening. That's one thing. And then our teens and our kiddos are very, very sensitive to stimulants like that. So, trying to completely avoid caffeine in our kiddos if we can.